Liam provided further detail on just how awful the attack was, recounting that he ripped Mark's eyes out. Proper psychotic stuff. I was going into shock. I was shocked how he came out with it. I wanted to run and tell someone.
He needs to be put down, bro. He needs to be put down. He ripped out his... Alright, I'm pretty sure this is my first time reacting to a Nick Crowley video. This one is 7 hours ago too, so I'm very excited. Nick Crowley, one of the best channels. Very interesting content, so let's check it out.
Tell you what we're going to do today more than anything else. We're going to do this. Nice guy must die. Nice guy must die. Nice guy must die.
YouTube's darkest channels, number 7, by the way. I don't know if I said that. Nice guy must die.
This is my house from the street. Here is my car. This is a 2-bedroom brick ranch,
Okay.
conveniently located.
It's the final day of February 2008. A 47-year-old man living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, named George Sedini, publishes his very first video to YouTube under the channel MOS B46PGH.
I paid $79,000 for this in 1996. That's considered a lot, believe it or not.
The upload, titled How George Pittsburgh Lives, was almost like an old-school house tour of sorts, as George proudly displays the outside of his home, before then doing the same inside.
A little bit of snow too.
Oh, someone left it unlocked. That's not good.
Huh?
Inside, okay. Pan to the other side.
Seemingly making a point of mentioning every minute feature in the otherwise dim and empty home.
Here's my big screen TV,
Okay.
my computer, couch and chair, they match. Dining room set, shoebox full of old pictures.
He documented everything.
To anyone who may have stumbled upon this strange video or Sedini's channel in general back in 2008, it would likely come off as entirely uninteresting and far from anything disturbing. However, to those who find it today, this couldn't be more different, as the account carries with it a layer of disturbing context due to the events that transpired after this first video was published. Events that have since transformed the MOS B46PGH page into one of YouTube's darkest channels.
Talk to me.
Please meet every woman's
Do
dream.
something so she remembers your name.
Talk to me, Nick.
Make sure he's someone you can trust. Be careful, is all I can say.
I'm gonna post this and see what comes back.
Bro, such a W channel.
I'm sure most of you guys have heard about the TikTok ban at this point. And honestly, there's
What's that
something about
ad?
it that's been bothering me. You or I could do a simple Google search. They use it
W ad.
that kind of proactive, immediately getting information is for.
I fuck with that. Okay.
Little hallway, 2 bedrooms. 2 bedrooms. To the right is my bedroom.
Okay.
Without any context, it's hard to know what the purpose of George Sedini's first video was, if it even had one at all. The entire thing just felt so random. But within the footage itself was one clue that hints at the fact that George actually had a very specific reason for uploading this, with
Why?
that clue coming in the form of a book on his coffee table.
Okay, come over here. There's some reading material that
I have
we're
a
all
bad
familiar
feeling.
with.
I have a bad feeling.
It was called How to Date Young Women for Men Over 35, which was about as creepy as it sounded.
My first guest today is a
There's a book called that. That's kind of crazy. But, I mean, as long as it's not a child, do what you do.
51-year-old bachelor who says if you're
Long
a
as
single
it's not-
woman
not
over
a minor.
30, you're a dating has-been. Please meet every woman's dream, Don Steele.
Who?
Look at him.
Its author, Don Steele, had made a
They
living as a
booed him.
dating counselor and life coach, creating various books and programs that were geared towards socially awkward men, exploiting them with the promise that someday they'll be able to get the younger girl of their dreams, even after they reached middle adulthood, and all that they had to do was pay for his course, pay for the book, and dedicate themselves to becoming more desirable.
He was on that Andrew Tate timing way back when, bro.
And George Sedini was the perfect target.
Scam course and everything.
Despite having a successful career as a systems analyst at a law firm, he struggled to maintain any relationships with the women that he met. It had been well over a decade since he last had a girlfriend,
Damn.
and despite desperately wanting one, George just seemed to lack the ability to connect with women on any level, even as
Decade's
just
crazy.
friends. And as his isolation began to grow,
That
so
guy's
too did his
insane.
obsession with finding a girlfriend. George had nearly given up these pursuits too, until he was introduced to Don Steele's course, viewing the program as his last real shot.
I feel like most people go about it wrong. Like, most people, like, bro, like, they think that they look awful. They're decent at least, bro. Like, just go talk. Use your, like, be confident, bro. Go out there and talk. Shouldn't be that damn hard. Back then, they didn't really have apps or anything either, too, so I don't know. Just weird, bro. Like, you're going about it the complete wrong way.
At human connection, obsessively reading the book to the point that he was supposedly able to recite passages by memory alone.
That's crazy.
On top of this, he would also attend many of this supposed guru's in-person seminars, with some of his visits even being captured on camera and later posted onto Don Steele's YouTube channel.
It used to be down here. It was called a codpiece. And it's
What?
gradually over the years moved up here. So it's read like an erect you-know-what.
And it was in these courses where George was subjected to all sorts of bizarre and unsettling ideology.
Turn around here, look at me, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do today more than anything else. We're going to do this. Nice guy must die.
But despite agreeing with this man wholeheartedly and following all of his work, George was still making very little progress, which was evident by the footage of him attending these seminars, as he appears incredibly nervous and kept mainly to himself. And so, recognizing that George had much to improve on, he was given an assignment by one of his instructors. He was told to film a video of his house, so that the instructors and everyone else in the class could see if he was really making himself and his environment desirable enough to any woman who might come over.
Okay. I don't feel like it looks
Couch and
bad,
chair,
bro.
They match.
I don't feel like it
The
looks
women
bad.
will really be impressed.
Knowing this, the footage feels so much lonelier,
Yeah.
as it was almost like he was trying to sell his way of living as being good enough for a partner that he was really no closer to finding.
Wrong way to go
There's
about it,
something
bro.
so depressing about it. And this wasn't his only video.
Huh?
It is easy for me to hide from my emotions for one more day. Take a long drive in the car, listen to some music, daydream, or just do some mundane task around the house that really doesn't need to be done, that's not too important. And there you go, one more day, and one more day turns into one more year.
Months later, on June 23rd, 2008,
There's only one person that can change that, and that's literally you, bro. You're the only person who can change that. Go outside and do something different. Switch it up. You know what I'm saying? Treat it like the fucking Truman Show after he realized he was on TV. Switch that shit up, bro. Do something different.
George would return with an upload he had filmed inside of his basement.
Fuck it,
And
you
in
know?
it, we get more insight on just how severe his isolation had become, though he still held on to a sliver of optimism thanks to Don Steele's course.
Go to the zoo or something.
Now,
Fuck it.
RDS says that I have approximately maybe 15 more years to be successful at this. And when I heard that, I wanted to continue immediately.
It's a lot of time.
To start moving on this.
So
I didn't
much time.
realize I had that much time. So, but my objective is to be real and to learn to be emotional and to be able to emotionally connect with people.
Before he eventually reverts
got that,
back to
bro.
talking about his uncanny desire to find a younger woman.
Because when I'm 10 to 20 years older than she is, she has to feel good about this thing.
Ending the
Good luck
video
with
with
that.
hints of an uncertain future.
I'm going to post this and see what comes back.
He would never upload again.
Oh,
And soon after, it appears George gave up trying, essentially accepting his life of loneliness. But while this would be the last video made to his channel, he wouldn't leave the internet entirely. Soon after this final video was posted, a website was launched called GeorgeSedini.com, which served as a place for George to blog about his emotions. And while something like this could have been beneficial for him, this
Okay.
website would instead only serve to capture his
what does that say? What?
descent into madness. An immediate red flag was raised by the very first text you see on the website,
What?
as George wrote, "Why do this? To young girls? Just read below. I kept a running log that includes my thoughts and actions after I saw this project was going to drag on,"
Okay.
with the line serving as some sort of bizarre disclaimer. Though with no other context, George's entries began. December 22nd, 2008. Time is moving along. Plan to have this done already. I will just keep a running log here as time passes. Many of the young girls here look so beautiful as to not be human. Very edible. After joining this gym, started lifting weights and like it. This early post encapsulates what
What?
this blog would be focused on: young women he would see throughout the day, his time at the
Edible?
gym, and his plan. This plan was never expressly stated on the website, but it was something he obsessed over, mentioning it in every single one of his posts and dubbing it the exit plan.
Grown man writing internet articles about literal children. Insane, bro.
Even going as far as to provide a date and time for it: January 6th, 2009, at 8:15 p.m. Before this day would come, however, he would provide further insight into just how lonely he was. Moving into Christmas again, last Christmas with Pam was in 1983. Who knows why? I'm not ugly or too weird. No sex since January 1990 either. I was 29. No shit. Over 18 years ago.
Damn.
I actually look good.
Bro.
I dress good. And
That's what I'm saying, bro. Most of these people aren't, like, insanely ugly, bro. And you go 18 years, like, that's you. That's on you, bro. Like, are you kidding me? Don't blame this shit on no one else. You want that shit that bad, you could pay for it, honestly. I'm not advocating for it. It's a really bad thing to do, but, bro, if you want it that bad, bro.
clean shaven, bathed, touch of cologne, yet 30 million women reject me. Over an 18 or 25 year period.
30 million
That's how I see
women.
it. 30 million is my rough guesstimate of how many desirable single women there are. With several other posts of the same nature, the day eventually came for his big exit plan, January 6th, with George writing one message that afternoon. I can do this. This log is not detailed. It is only for confidence to do this. The future holds even less than what I have today. It is 6:40 p.m., about an hour and a half to go. God have mercy. I wish life could have been better for all, and the crazy world can somehow run smoother.
Damn.
I wish I had answers. Bye. Despite this appearing to be his final post, George Sidini wasn't quite finished, as he would come back only hours later, writing simply, "It's 8:45 p.m. I chickened out. Shit. I brought the loaded guns, everything." Whatever George Sidini had been
Never do
planning
that,
that day,
fellas.
it was clear that his exit plan was something incredibly disturbing. And based on his use of guns, plural, it was likely not just an exit plan for himself.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Why
But
would
thankfully,
need-
he didn't go through with it. In fact, he seemed to have dropped the plan entirely, as
W.
months would go by without any update to his blog.
W.
Though this wouldn't last, as in April of 2009, he began posting yet again, with these entries being even more disturbing.
Oh, shit.
July 23rd, 2009. Wow, I just looked out my front window and saw a beautiful college-age girl leave Bob's house, across the street. I guess he got a good lay today. College girls are hoes. I masturbate. frequently. He is about 45 years old. She was long-haired.
This is a
hot little
grown
hottie
man,
with a
by the
beautiful
way.
bod. I masturbate. Frequently.
That's a grown man.
The strangest part of this entire website was, according to those he worked with and the neighbors, they all thought George was normal. A little off, sure, but it appeared that these disturbing thoughts and plans were kept solely in his blog, and solely in his mind. But on July 28th, 2009, this would all change. George had boarded a Port Authority bus that day and took a seat, carrying with him
Huh?
some sort of duffel bag, and as the ride commenced, he unzipped the bag and began to fiddle with something inside of it. An anonymous man sitting next to him noticed this, and curiously leaned over to see what he was doing. In George Sidini's hand was what appeared to be a grenade. The stunned passenger ran off at the next stop and immediately alerted the police. But bizarrely, nothing actually came of this.
Oh my
No explosions
gosh.
happened that day, and upon police eventually tracking down Sidini 2 days later,
Oh my
he
gosh.
was searched, but there was no sign of this supposed grenade, and the man who had
What?
reported this incident was unable to positively identify him.
Holy
And so,
shit.
George was released, allowing him to continue on with his day, and to continue on with his posting.
Oh my gosh.
August 3rd, 2009. I took off today, Monday, and tomorrow to practice my routine and make sure it was well polished. I need to work out every detail.
He was literally practicing this.
There is only one shot. Also, I need to be completely immersed into something before I can be successful. I haven't had a drink since Friday at about 2:30. Total effort needed. Tomorrow is the big day. Last time I tried this in January, I chickened out. Let's see how this new approach works. Maybe soon I will see God and Jesus. This was the final update made to GeorgeSidini.com,
Oh
and
my
unlike his
gosh.
previous attempt at carrying out this exit plan,
I wonder if that site
this
is
time,
on
he
Internet
didn't back
Archive.
out.
Oh my gosh.
On August 4th, 2009, George Sidini would enter an LA Fitness in Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, and
LA
walk directly into a
Fitness?
women's aerobics class
Oh my
with a duffel
gosh.
bag in his hand. He then dropped his bag on the floor with a loud bang before he closed the door and shut off all the lights. In a moment of darkness and confusion, one witness recalled that she felt the presence of someone who didn't belong there.
What the fuck?
Before total panic would ensue, everyone was just screaming so loud. At first, I didn't even think shots were being fired.
Shots!
It was so surreal. At that moment, George Sidini had brandished 2 guns from his bag and opened fire on the group
Holy
of 30,
shit, they got the
all of whom
CBS
were women,
News animation.
which wasn't.
Bro, he just walked into a room filled with... Bro, I'm telling y'all, it's your life is not worth ruining or ending over a woman, bro. It's not that serious, bro. Find a good hobby, get wealthy, something, bro.
Entirely the point. In that dark, cramped room, George would discharge his weapon 52 times, striking 12 different women
52.
and then himself.
Please tell me nobody.
Of the injured, 49-year-old Elizabeth Gannon,
Damn.
38-year-old Jody Billingsley, and 46-year-old Heidi Overmeyer
Damn,
would tragically
bro.
lose their lives, while the
Rest in peace to all 3 of these. That's completely fucked up.
others were left with permanent injuries, both physical and mental.
Took it out for
It wasn't
no
hard to
reason.
find a motive. George had spelled it out right there in his blog. He desired women so much that his inability to ever gain a real connection with any of them turned his infatuation into pure hatred.
The government
and
hoax
this is
is
how he wanted to
crazy.
make them pay. And the ironic
This
part
is-
is that this was all so avoidable, as the
This reminds me of that exact same like YouTube vlogger who was like going crazy because like women didn't want him, but he was like in his early 20s and he did the same thing. Like he shot up a Walmart, bro.
his plans were heavily implied on his website, which had been publicly available online for roughly
Tomorrow's
an
the
entire year.
big day.
Yet no
Last
one
time
cared
I
enough about
tried this,
him
I
to ever
chickened
look.
out. Bro, he was like fucking...
It is easy for me to hide from my emotions for one more day.
Knowing what we know now, George's channel is highly disturbing, as it shows us a glimpse into a mind on the verge of completely snapping, and a last gasp attempt at achieving normalcy by a person who would go on to become a monster when he didn't get what he wanted.
Just everything I need. Well, that about sums it up.
Complete weirdo,
Hi
bro.
guys, I am with Lewis. Just having a little
What is
drink.
this? Chapter 2.
Mark Williams
Displays.
always dreamed of being a YouTuber.
Okay. One
He
of
had
these
grown up watching
guys. Oh my
parkour content on the
gosh.
site, becoming attached to both its many talented creators
Bro, I could never do any of this, bro. That parkour, no. Immediately no.
and the hobby itself,
That's crazy.
eventually becoming so inspired by it that he launched his own channel in 2019, at the age of just 15,
He looks like
with Mark
iDubbbz.
hoping that someday this channel would make that dream of his come true. The page went by many names over the years, but eventually Mark would settle on the moniker Displace,
Okay.
and depending on who
Kinda
you
fire.
ask, his videos were either extremely impressive or extremely irresponsible. They showed scenes of Mark high atop buildings, jumping rooftop to rooftop, climbing on massive abandoned cranes, and fleeing from security guards and the cops on more than a few occasions.
Police are on the way already now.
Yeah, they'll catch me then, won't they?
I randomly see like TikToks of this happening.
Often seen with him was his younger brother, who he had grown incredibly close with, which was due in part to the fact that Mark was somewhat of a loner
I don't
and
like
didn't
where
have
this
many
is
friends in
going.
his own personal life. Though according to his mother, this wasn't necessarily by choice, as she explained that he did desperately want friendship, and he was incredibly caring. He just had a habit of making the wrong friends, describing Mark as trusting to a fault. Mark's longing for camaraderie became especially apparent not long after the launch of Displace,
Okay.
as his brother slowly began appearing less and less in his videos, forcing him to do these free runs by himself, which he implied was something he didn't enjoy nearly as much.
Crazy to
My brother,
do
who
this
was
shit,
part of the
bro.
channel then, he's not now. I don't think he's coming back at all. He ditched me, leaving me by myself, and I've got a problem with talking to myself as well.
This, coupled with the fact that he was dealing with the tribulations of growing up, led to his uploads on the channel becoming more and more sporadic, as he would often go dark for a few months, only to return with the promise of more consistent uploads.
Alright guys,
I did that
don't know
before.
if you can see me or not, but I promise you Displace is coming back.
That often never came. It was clear that he still longed to be a YouTuber, he just needed some sort of a spark. And sure enough, at the end of 2020, he would find one right in his
Nice.
own comment section.
Nice.
In a since-deleted video, Mark would receive a comment from a man named Lewis Ashdown, who explained that he was a big fan of Mark's content and that he would love to join him in an upcoming video, as they
Oh,
both just so
shit.
happened to live in Uckfield. It was exactly what Mark had been needing, a friend.
Okay.
And not only a friend, but a friend he could make videos with.
Same
And
interest.
so that's exactly what he would do.
Fire.
Hi guys, I'm back here with Lewis,
Fire.
and we're going to do the water treatment facility in Uckfield on the industrial estate. See you in a sec, guys.
From their first meeting on, Lewis became a core part of the Displaced channel, leading to the two growing closer by the day,
That's
with
fire.
Mark speaking about this bond on a live stream in March of 2021.
If you're going exploring at an abandoned pub, yeah, keep your mate with you. Make sure he's someone you can trust.
Keep your mate with you.
You know,
yeah.
and be careful is all I can say. Because in the video where me and Lewis climbed the college,
College.
you know, I was constantly looking out for him because he did get dangerously close
Real
to some
one?
of the edges, but you know,
Real
that's
one?
what life's about, isn't it?
Okay.
But despite finding his new parkour partner, Mark still had other issues getting in the way of his uploads, as he
Sure.
was now 18 years old, and was facing the reality of having to get a job, forcing him to put his channel on the back burner.
Not fun.
Mark discussed this struggle and the
Not
many others
fun,
he was
is it?
facing at the time in that same March livestream, with his tone about Displace's future sounding less than optimistic.
I've been doing some talking with Lewis, seeming like he wants to get back into climbing and stuff. I haven't actually done it since Christmas, and I've got a bad back, right? It's been
Alright.
getting worse and worse lately. Don't know why. I need to go to the hospital and have myself checked out. I am not sure where my channel is going to go. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing these videos. I don't know if I'm going to be doing different videos, or whether I'm going to stop completely.
Do
But
what you
unlike
wanna
other
do,
times
bro.
when he had gotten down on his channel, this time he wasn't alone, and his friend Lewis was there to have his back, as he
Fire.
pushed Mark to continue his work,
Yep.
even showing up in the comments of this livestream under the name Moral Unknown, where he
W.
went as far as to offer up a potential location that they could film their next video in order to get Mark re-inspired.
It's a real one, bro. It's a real one. He's trying to push him, you know, to get up and do something. And, bro, all I'm gonna say is if you do make content, just make the content that you like and what you want to do. Don't stress over any bullshit.
Will do Buxted Hotel first video back? And sure enough, just days
Buxted
later,
Hotel.
the two would arrive at Buxted Hotel to begin filming yet another video.
Hi guys, I am with Lewis. Just having a little drink.
Having a little drink.
This would be their last on the Displaced channel.
Oh,
It's not even 2
shit,
months
bro.
after it was uploaded. Both Mark Williams and Lewis Ashdown would vanish without a trace.
The fuck? This was in 2021 too.
It was the waning hours of Saturday, May 29th, 2021. Mark met Lewis at the Maresfield Recreation Ground to have a few drinks and discuss their next potential video.
Okay.
Though once there, it was the drinks that took priority, and very quickly Mark had become intoxicated, leading to him calling his house to tell his aunt, who he had been living with, that he would
Bro, you cannot be doing this parkour shit while you're drunk. Are you kidding me? I wouldn't even touch it sober. Stone cold sober. I wouldn't even look at it. I wouldn't glance near it, bro.
be heading back now.
The fuck?
On the call, his aunt could tell that he was drunk, but Lewis chimed in to assure her not to worry, telling her, "I'll get him home safe," which made his aunt feel slightly better. After all, it was only a short few-minute walk back to the house anyway.
Okay.
Instead, 12 hours would pass, and Mark still hadn't made it back, while Lewis himself also failed to arrive home. At some point during their short walk back, both boys had disappeared. They were reported
That's
as missing the
fucked,
very next
bro.
morning, and the area they were last in was combed thoroughly, though very little was uncovered. Around them had been large pockets of forest and murky bodies of water, leading to some questioning if perhaps the boys had gotten lost, or even had fallen into the water. Though regardless of the theories, as a full 24 hours passed, many began to fear the worst, until something strange happened.
Oh shit.
Reports began pouring in from witnesses claiming to have seen Lewis. Some thought they saw
Huh?
him leaving a local pub the morning
Oh,
after he supposedly
fuck.
had gone missing, while others had seen him at a local movie theater,
I know where
seemingly
this is
completely
going.
unaware that the whole town was looking for him.
I know where this is going.
These sightings introduced the possibility that the boys were perhaps runaways, causing several pleas to be made throughout the press, begging them to come back home.
Okay.
But it would be the police who would find Lewis first, tracking him down
shit.
at his friend named Liam Hansen's house. There, the cops fired off a barrage of questions,
Aiding
as
and
they not
abetting
only
a
tried to get
criminal.
answers as to where the boys had been, but more importantly now, they needed to know where Mark was.
Facts.
Throughout all the sightings, it was only ever Lewis that had been spotted. And even now, after searching this friend's home, Mark wasn't there either. So where had Mark Williams gone?
What?
Well, Lewis himself offered very little, outright refusing to speak on the boys' whereabouts. But his friend Liam wasn't so quiet, as when he was questioned separately, he claimed to know exactly what had happened on the night of May 29th, 2021, the day in which both boys had disappeared.
Talk.
And he knew because Lewis had told him.
Ooh, he about to snitch.
According to the boy, the night that Lewis and Mark had met at the park, Lewis poured a cocktail for his friend,
Okay.
and then another, and then another. each one stronger than the last, causing Mark to become drunk almost immediately.
Weirdo activity.
Realizing he was drinking too much, Mark told Lewis that he had enough, but Lewis persisted, outright demanding that he keep drinking, leading to Mark begging Lewis to let him stop. At one point, Mark's pleas finally caused Lewis to back off, as the boy instead agreed to make him a non-alcoholic drink, only for him to fill the cup with even more liquor when Mark wasn't looking.
Good God.
By 11:30, Mark could barely stand, prompting him to make that phone call to his aunt, letting her know that he would be back soon. Meanwhile, Lewis had been so preoccupied with getting his friend drunk that he was still fairly sober at this point, and in his sober state, he promised Mark's aunt that he would get him home safe. Seconds after that phone call ended, Mark hunched over to vomit, which is precisely when Lewis pulled a large kitchen knife from his pocket and plunged it directly into Mark's back.
What the fuck, bro? I feel like this was premeditated for a while, too. This is insane, bro.
Mark stumbled and asked Lewis to call him an ambulance, being unable to comprehend what had just happened, to which Lewis responded by laughing, before doing it again, and again, and again.
The fuck, bro?
This is what Lewis had told Liam in the days after the
It's a
alleged
nightmare,
attack,
bro.
but as Liam recounted the story to the police, he made it clear that this wasn't just a tall tale, as he had actually seen it for himself. When Lewis had told him the story, he pulled out his phone and put it up to Liam's face, revealing that he had
What?
filmed the entire ordeal.
What?
And sure enough, when police searched Lewis's devices, they would find that footage, though it was far worse than they ever could have
That's some
imagined.
sick shit, bro.
On Lewis Ashdown's cell phone were 7 total videos depicting the attack,
I don't wanna
with the
see
footage
anything.
spanning nearly an hour in total, during which Mark had been stabbed 107 times. On
Rest in peace, bro. This guy needs to get literally the chair. No other option.
top of having a number of other sadistic things done to him. And all the while, it was said that Lewis was giggling manically. When asked about what he had
That
seen
guy's
in
a
those
sick
recordings,
fuck.
Liam provided further detail on just how awful the attack was, recounting that he ripped Mark's eyes out. Proper psychotic stuff. I was going into shock. I was shocked how he came out with it. I wanted to run and tell someone.
He needs to be put down, bro. He needs to be put down. He ripped out his... Fuck no, bro.
This
Fuck
was
no.
clearly not a normal crime. It displayed a level of evil and hatred that goes past
Insane.
human comprehension.
That's some
And due to its
satanic
brutality,
shit, bro.
police assumed that surely something must have happened between these two to breed so much hatred inside of Lewis.
That's
But according to
crazy.
Lewis, this wasn't actually the case.
That is some
Instead,
scary
he
stuff.
stated that he had simply found Mark to be annoying, and that he had been wanting to kill him for some time because of
Jesus.
this, and had just been waiting for the right moment. Plus, he
what?
always wanted to know what it was like to kill someone. And that was it. That was his entire motive.
It's a bad excuse. You
Lewis
ripped his
Ashdown would
eyes
be
out.
arrested the day he was found and later sentenced to life in prison, with parole eligibility in 25 years, while Mark's body was found dumped in a nearby
Keep him
body of
locked
water
up.
and
Keep
eventually
him-
given a proper burial.
Keep him locked up, bro.
Hi guys, I'm back here with Lewis, and we're gonna do the
That makes these videos even more crazy. This is disturbing.
water treatment facility.
With this context, Mark's channel is utterly devastating. All he wanted was a friend to film videos with. But sure enough, as his mother had warned, he was trusting to a fault.
The
If you're
internet
going exploring
strangers.
at an abandoned pub, yeah, keep your mate with you. Make sure he's someone you can trust,
Yep.
you know, and be careful.
Which brings us to a disturbing revelation.
Internet strangers, bro.
Just months before he would kill Mark, Lewis was the one that encouraged him to get back out there and film with him.
That's
and based on his
true.
testimony that he had been wanting to kill Mark for a long time, it makes it very clear that he was doing this not to be a good friend, but to get Mark alone in an isolated spot
I said
so that he
W
could carry out his
friend,
plan.
too.
And adding more weight to this theory, when they visited the Buxted Hotel, which Lewis himself had suggested during the live stream,
That's
Mark was
fucked.
uncharacteristically drunk.
Hi guys, I am with Lewis. Just having a little drink. Okay, so we'll smash this after we smash these.
Which was never really part of his channel before that upload.
Yeah.
And Lewis was uncharacteristically nervous.
We're gonna do a couple more bangers. Can't tell you what they are in case anyone's watching that shouldn't be watching. Who's watching? Well, no, I mean watching the videos because I thought.
Oh, he was
I know
checking.
that the police do watch my channel sometimes.
That should be a red
Paranoid
flag, bro.
even of being caught by the cops, despite being totally unfazed in previous videos, where in some he was literally being chased by security guards. And coincidentally, by the end of this video, we get an indication as to why Lewis was so nervous. because he had been carrying a knife.
Oh, brother.
All this leads me to believe that that night, Lewis pushed Mark to film a video in an abandoned location, then got him drunk, and was going to carry through with the murder,
Premeditated.
before eventually backing out for unknown reasons.
First degree.
And all the while, Mark was completely unaware, never once suspecting that the man he had been filming with had secretly been plotting to kill him, and one day would actually go through with it.
Weirdo, bro.
Okay, I'll wrap it up now then, guys. Yep, I'll see ya.
Nah, these stories are real. They got everything documented. These shits are crazy. Chapter 3, Joshua Brown.
Joshua
So-
Brown started his YouTube channel back in 2010,
Let's
a
go.
time when many individuals, including himself, used the site to upload random videos offering momentary glimpses into their lives. Joshua was in his mid-30s at the time and had recently finished serving in the Navy, before eventually settling down in Canton, Ohio, where
Talk
he
to me.
focused on his many passions. He
Talk
loved
to me.
driving, he loved
Nice.
technology, and he loved a little bit of danger. And soon, he became
Living his
infatuated
life.
with a product that was essentially the sum of all three. For Joshua, these electric vehicles were a technological marvel and the future of the automotive industry, and he dreamed of one day having one.
Okay.
With that dream eventually coming true in 2015 when he would purchase his very own Tesla Model S
damn,
that
it
would
been
eventually
around that
become
long?
his life and his YouTube channel's primary focus. He
10
began uploading
years?
videos of his new car immediately, but rather than these focusing on the vehicle itself, it was its most controversial feature that interested him the
The
most:
self-driving? Yep.
autopilot.
Yep.
The feature had become available for Tesla drivers in October of 2015,
Shit's
which
so
is exactly
risky.
when Joshua purchased his car and began uploading these videos showcasing its possibilities.
I know where this is going.
It takes all the stress out of it. Get to your destination slightly slower, but hey, at least now you don't have to worry about anything.
I know where this is
Just let
going.
it go.
He wanted to essentially be a pioneer, providing an overview of what self-driving was really all about, breaking down the specifics and showcasing a variety of unique situations that
Okay.
you might find yourself in if you were to use this driving mode yourself.
This section in here is going to be very, very difficult for the car to handle. We're filming this just so that you can see scenarios where the car does not do well, so that you've got something to judge off of it when you're driving on your own.
If there's parts where the car doesn't do well, I'm not auto-driving, bro.
And he tried to make a point of doing so safely, as he never used the camera behind the wheel, and always had someone helping him to avoid any accidents.
Okay.
But despite his focus on safety, it was clear that he was pushing the capabilities of this brand new technology, as at this point it was still in its infancy, with one of the more glaring red flags being the placement of his hands.
Here we are, stop and go traffic on 271, and geez, car's doing it all itself.
When Joshua was shown driving, he hardly ever had his hands on the wheel, as he said he wanted to get the true experience of self-driving. This was something that Tesla had actually adamantly advised against, and even had visual and audible warnings if it detected that your hands were off the steering wheel.
Damn.
But Joshua seemed to find a workaround, as he instead used his legs to avoid tripping the sensor, while keeping his hands close by, ready to grab the wheel in
Come
case of
on,
an
bro.
emergency.
How I actually do it is so that it is really actually hands-free, is I keep my knees up, because the tack works pretty good, but I can still get my foot down to a brake.
This
and
is
just keep it like
natural
this, because you
selection,
can
bro.
react so quickly.
It was clear that Joshua truly believed that this car that was driving him was safe, and this belief was only strengthened on
Natural
April 5th
selection,
of
unfortunately.
2016. That day, Joshua had been driving his car on the interstate when a large truck suddenly merged into his lane, with its
Oh,
driver not even
shit.
seeing his car.
Shit.
And before Joshua could even react, the autopilot kicked in and veered out of the way, avoiding what would have been a certain collision.
Okay.
Amazed by the event, Joshua would upload dashcam footage of the close call to his
Let me see
YouTube
this.
channel, where he praised the vehicle's response. Tessie did great. Excellent job, Elon.
Okay.
This video would immediately go viral, exploding to over 4 million views between the two versions that Joshua had posted. But while the response to this video was overwhelming, especially for a channel that was accustomed to getting just a few hundred views,
Yep.
there was one response in particular that impacted Joshua the most. As Tesla's owner, Elon Musk, would repost the video on Twitter.
He got the repost.
Stunned by the tweet, Joshua would later state, "For something to catch Elon Musk's eye, I can die and go to heaven now."
That's crazy, bro. You should never idolize any billionaire. Come on, bro. They're all bad people. What are
He
we
had
talking
no way
about?
of knowing then, but this would not be the last time that Elon Musk would tweet about him, though his next feature would be under much different circumstances.
Our condolences for the tragic
It happened just
loss.
1 month after Joshua Brown's video had gone viral.
Shit.
He was driving on Highway 27 on a clear sunny day at approximately 4 p.m. With open road ahead, Joshua turned on his trusted autopilot, and it stayed in autopilot mode for over half an hour, as at this point, his trust in the car was higher than ever, causing Joshua to seemingly lose focus on the road, as he was quickly coming up on an intersection where a massive 18-wheeler had been turning left, blocking Joshua's entire lane. Joshua was seemingly so unfocused that he didn't even notice it. Even stranger, the car itself didn't detect this either, despite the entire trailer being horizontal in their lane. This was due to its pure white body, as the sun was shining so brightly against it that, for whatever reason, it became invisible to the self-driving AI. And with neither Joshua nor the car registering the danger that they were in, the vehicle would strike the trailer, going 74 miles per hour.
Oh my... That's literally flattened, bro.
There were no attempts by Joshua to even move the steering wheel, and the brakes hadn't so much as been tapped. The collision happened at full speed, and it happened so fast that the car drove straight through underneath, shearing the entire top of the vehicle off, and continuing driving full speed down the road.
Oh. That reminds me of them fucking driving TikToks I used to see, bro. Not even trying to be funny, but this is... this is bad. Holy shit.
Before it would eventually crash to a halt. When the driver of the truck rushed over to see the damage, Joshua Brown was already dead, and the truck driver could hear nothing but the sound of Harry Potter.
You can own it on DVD and video. The adventure is bigger. The magic is stronger. Harry Potter, Harry Potter.
Discovered in Joshua Brown's car was a DVD player, which many believe Joshua had used to watch Harry Potter while on that drive, thus explaining why he never reacted to the impending collision.
Buddy went out watching Harry Potter. I mean, rest in peace, bro. I don't know if I could ever trust an electric car.
Now, this is something that has been disputed by his family, and ultimately it doesn't seem to have been fully proven or disproven.
What if
But in
lightning
the
hits me,
end,
bro?
the fault of the accident was placed mainly on the driver of the truck, who had made that left turn,
Really?
and Joshua Brown, who had
Okay.
failed to pay attention to the road,
Yeah.
as it was revealed that during his 37-minute drive, he only had his hands on the wheel for just 25 total seconds.
What an idiot, bro.
Joshua Brown always wanted to be part of the innovation of Tesla's autopilot,
It's
and
not
in doing
fully
so, he wrote himself into the
self-driving,
history
though.
books as being the first person to ever perish in a self-driving accident. And while this is no
Tragic.
doubt a tragedy, his death has led to numerous safety improvements and a better understanding of the self-driving technology that he had given his life to study.
He should have just waited, bro. It was gonna get better over time.
I just wanted to hop on here at the end and give a quick shout out to my friend's new
Yup.
podcast called Redacted.
That was actually a really good video, Nick Crowley. I'm glad I was able to catch one while live. So insane, bro. Yeah, the Mark Williams one is terrible. I don't even think I could even watch his YouTube channel because that would be rough. That was a great video. Terrible shit.
There's nobody
Up in there.
left. Set up the bro with a play, don't fumble it. Damn, he fumbled the ball, I gotta recover it. East Street lacking, other bitch caught up. He spun back, that's not what I taught him. Now I gotta make the play.